Happy Labor Day to all my fellow Americans out there. You gotta love labor. Let's give it up for labor, guys. Come on. You know what? Hold on. Let's get 3 whips, 3 passionate whips for labor. 1, 2, 3. And Nene for the road. Hey. Alright everybody, it's time to talk about Weekly Shonen Jump 2025, issue number 40. So on the cover this week, we have Shinobi Undercover to celebrate its 1-year anniversary, as we've been doing a lot lately with a bunch of series, because apparently a year ago we had a really good batch. And it's a really cool cover. You know, it's very evocative of the series, obviously. It definitely gives off the vibe and feeling of the series itself, so you can't really ask for more than that. Now, before we talk about that series, there's actually a ton of news to talk about this week. First on the agenda is the fact that Kill Blue ended, so we'll be talking about that a lot later. And at the same time of its ending, we also got the announcement of an anime adaptation, which we speculated about last week, but confirmed it is getting an anime, which is actually insane that the same day it ended is when the anime is announced. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before. It's being done by Studio Q, or CUE, which is a pretty much completely unknown studio as far as I can tell. I can't find much else that they've done, which is interesting. It makes sense though. This is definitely something, this kind of reminds me of something like Bug Films, who made their debut with Zom 100. Just kind of getting a relatively well-known series to debut and get their name out there. Makes sense. But the fact that this series is now over is interesting. I talked about last week how I figured if this were to get an anime, which it is, that it would probably end, or that it would probably be like a 1-season thing and that'd be it. So I imagine it just being 1 season of 25, 24 episodes, and we'll just adapt the entire manga. I think 114 chapters is perfectly reasonable to adapt into 25 or 24 episodes, maybe even 26, I don't know. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. Some stuff will get cut, but what are you going to do? There's no sense in dragging this out to multiple seasons. It's not a crazy successful series. But I think the fans will be happy to see a complete adaptation regardless. I couldn't really care less because I'm not the biggest fan of Kill Blue at all. I kind of really don't like it at all. So no skin off my back, but hey, for the fans, that's cool. You get an anime, which I would not have expected this series to get. Another piece of news is that next week we are getting a new series written by Gege Akutami, who of course did Jujutsu Kaisen, with art by Yuji Iwasaki, who did what the hell is that called? Cypher Academy. Few years ago. I don't know how long ago that was. It was a decent series, I suppose. I don't know. It's fine, but that's cool. I'm happy to see Gege in the writer chair. I think that'll be fun. Having to not worry about drawing at all. I think that'll be good for him. It'll be a limited series, by the way. This isn't like a whole full-blown series. This will probably be like a couple volumes, maybe 3 or 4 at max. It could even be 1. I don't know. This could be like a Sandland situation where we just get, like a volume's worth of chapters published in the magazine, and then it makes its way out. Yeah, the main character design looks neat. I don't know. We'll see. I don't really have a whole lot of feelings about it. We'll just have to read it and find out. We talk about it every week, so look out for it, I guess. And also, the Jujutsu Kaisen anime is obviously coming back with the Calling Game, and it is coming out way sooner than anybody thought. It'll be premiering in January. And in the States, at least, we have a movie of the Shibuya incident and the first 2 episodes of The Calling Game coming out in December and November in Japan. Cool. I'm very excited. That's awesome. This is the best case scenario. I did not think that this would happen so soon. But yeah, beyond that, just a lot of series ending. Togashi's been tweeting again. We could be seeing the return of that in the near future because, last time that Hunter x Hunter came back into serialization, we did see a lot of series drop off, get axed, to make room for Hunter x Hunter. So we'll see what happens. We could get that back by the end of the year. Temporarily, obviously, it'll probably be another 10-chapter batch, but we will have to wait and see. Anyways, I think it's time to talk about manga. Shinobi Undercover, Chapter 47, The Toppling Tower. Immediately when I saw this color page, I thought it was like literally the same thing as the cover of Shonen Jump, but no, they're different. It's just remarkably similar in vibe and even like posing. Anyways, this chapter was awesome. I loved this actually. The fact that we're, you know, carrying this box, the stacking boxes metaphor that I talked about loving so much in previous chapters is coming back during an action chapter is just awesome, and it's utilized so well. So this is kind of like a power up in a way, but he's like a blank slate. He's mindless. He's just kind of going through the motions, but that's in turn making him stronger because he's not held back by all the baggage and emotions that, you know, a normal teenage boy would feel. So he's just rocking their shit now. The tides have completely turned. He was getting his ass kicked before, but now he's kicking their ass. We also have the introduction of a narrator, I think, which is cool. I love narrator usage in manga. I mean, I'm a huge Hunter x Hunter fan. I don't even know if that's in the shot, but right there. So to see narrator usage in this series in a pretty similar way to how Hunter x Hunter utilizes the narrator, that's awesome. I wouldn't have expected it from this series, but I'm happy to see it. I was very happy when JJK did it. Very excited for this. I think narrators are great. It helps us paint the author's picture even more, in addition to incredible art. So yeah, I love this chapter, actually. This was my favorite action chapter of this series, probably ever. And that's coming from someone who really is a fan of the slice of life content in this series. This was pretty cool. I like how we are weaving in Yorika's actual like social anxieties and personal feelings and problems into the action. I think that's much better. And yes, we did do that in the previous action arc, but again, I've talked about it a million times. It's just the low stakes of that arc really bugged me. I couldn't. Again, it was like joint training all over again from My Hero Academia. Who cares about any of this? Anyways, whatever. That's neither here nor there. This was a really great chapter. I hope in the future action chapters can be something more like this. Ichi the Witch, chapter 48, A New Prophecy. It's very nice to see Ichi the Witch so high up on the TOC every week. I mean, it's basically #1 again. It's just so cool. It's even over One Piece most of the time, which is just awesome. It shows how much Jump seems to value this series. Anyways, the chapter itself, pretty good. Nothing too insane, I thought. But what is interesting about this chapter is we have the World Hater magic back through a prophecy, it seems, where he does something pretty crazy. Like seemingly kills Jikishiron or something, or like blows her up. I don't really know. And some interesting thing with her butler or whatever here, seemingly could be the World Hater magic, like in disguise. I don't know if that's the case, but it's kind of how the ending here reads to me. Anyways, though, very cool imagery, neat premise and setup, and I do like seeing them start to talk about like the implications of Ichi being the only and first male witch and how important he will be to the future of the world. It's interesting. We also got another glimpse of all the other whatever they are, magic captains. I don't know, the Gote 13, whatever. Yeah, cool, good chapter. One Piece chapter 1158, Rocks versus Herald. You know, I can sit here and tell you the same thing I say every week, but I'm not even going to bother. This is obviously extremely unfocused. This is kind of all over the place. Once again, I have no idea what this flashback is about. Anyways, as a chapter, if I separate myself from this, I don't really think this is all that great. It's just kind of, it's a big mess. This one page in particular that I'm going to show on screen here, this literally looks like the parodies that people post to make fun of One Piece paneling. This is truly abysmal paneling. I have to be honest. This is terrible. Like, this is amateur hour paneling. This is really bad. I love One Piece dearly. It used to have good paneling, but Oda he forgot how to panel, man, in these past few years. This is rough. Man. That's crazy. This literally, like, for real looks like one of those parody images you see online all the time. Regardless, I am interested now. It seems like we actually are going to get God Valley. It could be another tease, because again, we said the same thing in the Kuma flashback. We're like, oh my god, we're getting God Valley here. And back then, I think it would have made even more sense because Kuma actually was a man on the ground there. I don't think Loki is going to show up, or even maybe Herald will show up at God Valley. I don't know. Obviously, that's an exciting prospect. I want to see God Valley so damn badly. And if it happens here, then all right, fuck it, fine. I want to see it, so let's just do it. But it really just feels like, man, what the hell is this flashback? Is this the God Valley flashback? Is this the Loki flashback? Is this the Herald flashback? Is it the Rocks flashback? Is this the goddamn Rayleigh and Shaki flashback? It's just like, I don't know what we're saying here. And it's driving me crazy because One Piece flashbacks are always so to a point. You know, they are trying to tell a story and drive a point home. This one does not have that yet. There is no through line to be found, and it's kind of maddening. But again, God Valley, let's do it. I do want to see it badly. It's at the cost of what could have been a really interesting flashback about Harrow and Loki, and Elbaf in general, but instead we're spending 95% of it off of Elbaf without even an Elbaf character involved, hardly. But anyways, to talk about One Piece, because I never really speculate a whole lot because I've been really frustrated by this series lately in a weird way, but I'm also really into it at the same time. It's whatever. You've heard me talk about it if you've watched the show before. But obviously we see Shanks' mother from the back at least. So that's interesting. And the fact that obviously Shanks and Shamrock are there on God Valley further drives home the information that we got from Film Red about how Roger likely rescued him from God Valley, combined with the fact that, you know, we see Shanks rescue Uta from a treasure box. We can infer that likely Shanks was like a prize to be won during the God Valley incident, or something akin to that, and that Roger rescued him from whatever fate would have befell him. Why that is, who knows? Maybe Shamrock will notice something in Shanks that he's not fond of, but Shamrock is, you know, the one. He's destined. Or maybe it's a reverse thing. Maybe he wanted Shanks but got stuck with Shamrock. Who knows? It's interesting. Shanks is one of my favorite characters, so I'm very interested in anything to do with him, even if he's a baby. So I'll take it. I'm excited, but God, I'm frustrated about this flashback. It's truly maddening how all over the place this thing is. I hope you guys can understand this, because believe me, I love One Piece so much, but this is just wild. Kagurabachi Chapter 92, The Swordsman. This was awesome. So damn cool. This is some classic Kagurabachi stuff. I love when we just have basically a group of people aura farming off of each other while doing the coolest shit in the world. It is so sick. I love the action in this series. It cannot be understated how awesome and cool and fun to read it is. My only complaint, and it's a minor one, is just the fact that Kiri's not involved here. I mean, we just got her, and now she's already being sidelined. And that will rectify. I'm not saying that this is going to be a trend forever. Kiri is going to do more in the future, but it's just a shame that we just got her, and now she's already being pushed away to do something else while these guys do the cool action stuff. And it kind of bounces out because Kiri, I mean, that chapter won my chapter of the week. The chapter is simply called Kiri. That was a very good showcase of what she can do. And again, we will see more of her. This is not the end, but it is a shame that she's not, it feels like something's missing. I wish she was part of this, but, you know, as she says, yeah, I'll let the old dudes deal with this, whatever, you know, it's fine. But I love, you know, the casual Hokuto losing a hand and just continuing on like nothing happened. That's iconic stuff, very Bleach. And yeah, there's all the looks on everybody's faces. You can read a lot into that and get a feeling for how they're feeling about all this. Hokuto's even laughing. Hokuto's growing on me, by the way. I think his design's still kind of bleh, but I do like his character, and that's really at the end of the day all that matters. You don't really need an amazing design to get by. Yeah, just amazing action, cool characterization. Can't complain. This is a great Kagurabachi chapter. Me and Roboco Chapter 247, The Fan and Roboco. Cool color page here. But unfortunately, that's kind of all I have to say about this chapter. To be brutally honest, I did not really like this chapter. Nothing really landed. It was like, it didn't work for me. There was even a 4-panel segment for Coma Theater, just like nice prison that I love dearly, obviously. And it wasn't even that funny. So just a dud Roboco chapter. I didn't really jive with the core bit. You know, the fan wanting to be a disciple. I don't know. It didn't work for me. That's a shame, but it is what it is. I don't know. What can you do? Not every chapter lands, and that's evidently clear here. Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi, Chapter 58, The Baton to be Passed On. That rhymed. So, this answered all my questions. This series is definitely continuing as usual, and that's awesome. So, some cool slice of life moments here. We got some little, school festival nonsense going on, which is really cute and fun. I like that a lot. Let me end off with the reveal that Kiyoshi is about to be recommended to be a cross paladin, which is pretty huge. Isn't something I expected to happen so early. But again, early in this series is kind of confusing. We have no idea what the scale of this story really is yet, I feel. It's kind of just, we're currently in a phase where we're going to be setting up what the rest of this story is going to look like. Because we're kind of at ground zero again. Like, it's a completely level playing field. We have no idea what is going to happen or where we're going to go from here. At least I don't know. Maybe I missed something in the past. What could be happening here is maybe we'll get some kind of like cross paladin exam, which will be an arc. We had another exam in the past to become just like I don't even remember what that was, to be honest. Some other rank. So I could see something like that happening again, with the end result being him becoming a cross paladin and moving on to another more serious arc, high stakes arc. I don't know, but the way that all the characters are talking, it is evidently clear that this series is not going anywhere. We're setting things up, we're foreshadowing, we're doing all the motions. This series will continue, and that's awesome because I really like it. I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I would have been sad to see it go.
Get this man a gun.
Sakamoto is chapter 227, Determined. Little disappointing. My dreams of a Lu 1v1 are kind of squashed currently, as we have Granny Mia joining in, who is typically like a healer. But, we did notice that she was an assassin in the past, so this makes sense. It's cool to see her use like, medicine-based, like, poison, whatever. It's the classic like doctor fighting thing in Shonen where they know the body so well, the weak points, they have all these drugs and stuff to paralyze and poison, whatever, you know how it goes. And so far Lu is just kind of bumbling around, doing nothing, still helping, obviously, but nothing, no big moment. Her only big moment here is throwing up fire onto the guy. I think we're gonna get more from her. It's gonna be cool, but I don't like that it's a 2v1. I just wanted Lu and Lu alone. Maybe we'll get there. Maybe, it kind of sucks to say, but maybe Mia will just bite the dust, eat shit and die, and then we'll just have Lu alone, which I think is kind of preferable right now, because in different contexts, I'd love to see Mia fight. I think that's cool. It's interesting, but not here and now. I want Lu. We haven't seen Lu do anything in so long. Just give her her spotlight. Don't have her share it. But what can you do? I'm just happy she's getting action at all. Let's just see how this plays out. We're probably gonna keep cutting back to Heisuke and hopefully Nagumo, man. Come on, let's go back to Nagumo. I really want to see that still. Now that I see the setup for this fight, I'm a little less into it and excited about the idea, but hopefully it gets to a point where I will be excited about it again. I just want Lu to kick ass. That's all I want. It's my #1 desire. Come on, let it happen. Just do it. I have faith, but not a great start. WillOWisp Chapter 215, The Student Council Succession Saga, Part 1. So, okay, this is a pretty good premise. I actually am really looking forward to this. We have Morihito running for Student Council President, while also Jekyll is running, and I think some others, but who really gives a shit? Maybe others. It might just be the two of them. I don't know. Are there more? Who cares? This is exciting. I like this concept. This sounds like a lot of fun. I feel like there's going to be a lot of parody here. Hopefully of the succession contest from Hunter x Hunter, because that's what that title was very evocative of. I don't know if we'll go that far, but I mean, this series is parody a lot of the time, so I could see it happening. Regardless, though, I'm really looking forward to reading this saga, as it's called. I think this will be a good time. This chapter itself, I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about it. This is just setting up what is going to be a multi-chapter long thing, and I'm on board. Let's see how it goes. Blue Box Chapter 209, My Treasure. Such a sweet chapter. I absolutely loved it. It's just weird because of where we're at in the story. This feels like this would be like one of the final chapters of like another romance series, or like a slice of life series. But we have a lot on the table still. So this isn't going to be ending super soon, I'd have to imagine, right? I don't know. I don't think so. I really don't. Because there's a lot left to do, a lot that's been set up lately, but this feels very like final. And it is final in a way. This is the end of Chinatsu's high school life. This is a big moment in her life, and that's what makes this important. Yeah, her speech was just super sweet, and I'm really excited to see what Taiki and her talk about in the next chapter, because that's where we leave off. It's probably going to be really sweet, reflecting on the past, like we did this whole chapter. I mean, it's all reflecting on the series, which is why it just feels so final. But again, a lot on the table still, so we're not ending anytime soon. But it's going to be interesting to see how this chapter bleeds into all the stuff that we have coming, because I think this is a very defining moment in the series emotionally. This is like an emotional peak for sure. In isolation, not thinking about the future. Well, I can't say really without thinking about the past, because that's what this chapter is all about. But without looking ahead, this was a fantastic chapter, and I loved it.
Oh, that's a baseball!
Harukaze Mound, Chapter 11, Choosing for Ourselves. Guys, I'm afraid this was peak. I love this chapter. I think Jump finally really found its sports series that it's been so desperately looking for. It certainly isn't Ekiden Bros, as evident by its placement on the TOC this week, but this is it. This is the one. I think we got it. We finally got a sports series that's going to stick. And it's certainly starting to stick with me. The only downside that I want to mention real quick is just the downside of reading this week to week. In a normal read, I think this would be volume 2, but anyways, this would still be totally normal and fine, I think, if you're just reading this like a normal human being. But there's this weird disconnect with the two brothers, seeing Areeb again after not seeing him since like the first or second chapter. At this point, for me, I kind of forgot what the two brothers' dynamic even was, because it's been so long in the real world. Like, it's been, I don't know, a couple months, right? A few months since we've last seen him or even really thought about him. So it is weird to just kind of have him thrown back in casually and, continue where we left off basically with a relationship. But again, that is a unique problem to reading week to week, which is not how the large majority of people on this earth will read this series. So it's really a non-complaint. Other than that, though, it features my beloved visual metaphor in sports series and just some great sibling moments that I love. It's great. This is really good. And I'm excited to see the future of this series, because I am very endeared to it right now. Hima-Ten, Chapter 56, Maltor Kana. We're continuing in this Hime no no saga, and I guess we're just kind of slowly getting each of the girls' opinions on her, chapter by chapter. Here with Kana, who is jealous of her, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Not my favorite stuff in the world. I've talked about this before. I'm not too locked in on this Hime no no stuff. What are you gonna do? I don't know. We're stuck with it, so I don't care. The Kana moments were cute though. I did like them. We've gotten plenty of chapters of just her and Iemori hanging out, but they're always nice. She's sweet and cute. What more can you ask for, I guess? I don't know. I really wish this Hime no no stuff was not a part of the series. I'm just not into it. Really not.
Feel the power of my magic!
The Elusive Samurai, Chapter 216, Preparing for the Big Battle, 1352. Aptly named chapter. We are preparing for what is almost certainly the final battle of the series, and that's kind of all this chapter is. I did like it though. Actually, I thought it was pretty sweet and a fun enough read for a non-action chapter of this series. And even the action chapters are very wordy, by the way, and sometimes very boring. But I did like this one. I've been liking this series lately. I think this final battle is going to be pretty interesting. Pretty high stakes, a lot on the line. You can definitely feel it. Tensions in the air. There's also a lot of confidence going into it, which I think is not what I expected. But from the characters, but also from me. I feel confident in this series doing a good job of telling the story, which I haven't thought many times in the past. I have thought it. Obviously, I don't hate this series, but it definitely fumbles the bag a lot. But I don't think this will be a time where it does. I think it's going to stick the landing. Yeah, not much to say about the chapter itself. Just looking forward to the coming chapters is really all I have to say.
And it's mommy makeout day.
Kaedegami Chapter 10, Nasty Bugs. Guys, I'm really starting to like this series. I didn't really care for it a whole lot at first. It took me a while to warm up to it and to catch on to what it was doing, trying to say, I guess. But now that I'm on board, I think I like this series. It's obviously really, really reminiscent of Fabricant 100, if any of you have ever read that. It was an old, not old, but a few years old. I hesitate to call it flopped, because I think it did last slightly longer than a normal flopped series. It's been a minute, though. I might be misremembering that. Very similar to it. Like, on all fronts, incredibly similar. Except the fact that Chiyo is more comfortably good, whereas the Fabricant 100 woman, whose name I completely forgot, I think it was actually just Fabricant 100. I don't know if she had a name. Wait, was she even 100? I don't know. I forget. Yeah, she was. She was. That's why it was called that. I think 99 was the villain, or 1 was the villain. Man, I don't know. It's been a while. Anyways, Chiyo's more comfortably like a good person, whereas Fabricant 100 was kind of a mixed bag. He didn't really know where her allegiances truly lied. But Chiyo does seem like a good-hearted person at the moment, at least. But she can, as we've just seen, like last chapter, that can flip on a dime. And that's interesting, because she used to be something far bigger and scarier than what she is right now. And as we inch closer to her being her original self, I wonder if we'll have to have herself grappling with her past in any capacity, or if she's just totally locked in on Ko right now and doesn't really care about much else. And I like that. I think this will be a pretty entertaining read overall. It's shaping up to be something unique and entertaining at the very least. And really, that's all you need to make a good series at the end of the day.
You what?
Yo Blue, Chapter 115, So Long Juzo. The final chapter. Series has come to an end abruptly, and I think that's fine. So I guess, this is only the second series that has ended while I've been doing this show, and the first one was literally the first episode with Beethoven, whatever that series was called. What was that series called? I don't know. The Beethoven one. I forgot the name of it completely. Star of Beethoven. There you go. Anyways, I never really liked this series from chapter 1 the whole way through. So this ending doesn't really do a lot for me. I'm glad it didn't end up being like freaky. Like it could have gone in a direction I did not like. I still feel a little weirded out by it in a way, but it's also like, Juzo didn't reciprocate the feelings, so there's something there, but still just weird. And it got really repetitive after a while. We just kept kind of doing the same thing over and over for 100 chapters, and I just never really cared about any of the characters or any of the plot or the happenings of this world. And it just kind of fell on deaf ears after a while. I stopped paying too close attention. I'd read it, move on with my life, forget about it a week later, and try to remember what was happening the previous week. It was tough, honestly, because I just... and honestly, that's kind of where I'm at with New Age Exorcist right now, too, unfortunately. I know a lot of people are probably annoyed about my thoughts and feelings on that series, but what can you do? And yeah, I don't know. It's a shame, because here we are, final chapter, and I kind of really have nothing to say about it. It was something I read. I'll forget it in like a year, I'm sure. Like every memory of this will be wiped out. Will I watch the anime? I don't know, man. Maybe. If I have nothing to watch that season or something, I might just throw it on every week. Why not? I don't know. It was just a whatever manga. I don't know. I don't really have too strong opinions on it either way. It existed and I read it. And that's kinda all I got to say. If any of you have more interesting thoughts to share about it, please let me know. I would like to see some takes from people who were like locked in on this thing, they loved it, or even like the biggest haters in the world of this series. Please talk to me. I want to hear passionate people from either direction tell me what they thought of this series, because I have nothing. And that's boring. So let's spice up the conversation a bit. Give me something to think about. Give me something to chew on with this one. Because there's just no like resonating messages or anything that will make this series memorable to me. Those are my thoughts on this series as a whole. It's over. Can't really say it'll be missed. I will move on with my life now. And we'll have a cool new series to take its place next week.
you doing, step bro?
Nue's Exorcist, Chapter 112, the MVP. Another week, another Nue's Exorcist chapter that I have nothing to say about. I feel like we're at least reaching the end of this arc, and then we can hit a refresh point where I can maybe start to care about this series at least a little bit again. But we're not there. I don't care. Gakuro's doing Gakuro things, you know, it's the same kind of thing he always does. I'm not really too passionate about his skill set or his personality. It's just girls swooning over him and he does a cool action thing. Cool in quotes, because it's hardly even that cool, to be honest. I want to see something different from this series. Because, man, I'm like falling asleep reading this shit. I just can't find it in myself to care about anything that I'm reading right now in this series. Akane-banashi Chapter 172, A Fool for Rakugo. Perfect. Stuck the landing. This is exactly what I've been talking about, how the pacing for week to week is rough for Akane-banashi. But now that I've seen the whole picture, I can look back in my mind and see the whole package and think, hell yeah, that was great. It's like the past 3 chapters or so is really one chapter. Like, you're supposed to read that all together, but because it's separated chapter by chapter in a weekly format, we have to see it segmented like this week to week, and it can be frustrating. But now that we got the whole thing, the whole moral of the story, everything's coming together, this is great. This is some classic Karashi stuff. We have another, iconic Akane double-page spread, and it looks fantastic. Oh my god, it's so good. I love when Akane-banashi does this stuff. We get his whole ideal for how he views Rakugo and what he wants to do. He wants to create something that lasts. He wants to leave a mark on the world of tradition, as he says. And that's so cool. I love this. I love Karashi, and this just brings it all home. Ties it up in a neat bow. Awesome stuff. I can't wait to see what the judges have to say. Same thing I was saying about Hikaru. Just absolutely wonderful. I can't complain about anything that happened this chapter. This was fantastic. It's crazy that this is so low on the TOC, but it happens sometimes, and it balances out. I like getting to talk about something I love this much near the end, because usually it's just a bunch of shitters. But we actually get something really, really great down here. So yeah, this chapter made me very happy. Just totally knocked it out of the park. Fantastic. Ping-Pong Peril Chapter 8, Suji Brand Energy Injection. I guess first thing to address is the TOC. This was Ping-Pong Peril's first ranking on the TOC, and it's low. It is low. There's still 3 series below it, but all 3 of those series below it are guaranteed flops. So, feels bad. It really feels bad. And it is a shame, because this chapter, I wasn't a fan of the last chapter, but this chapter's kind of bringing me back in. I think the absurdity is what's winning me over here. Like, okay, so his gimmick isn't just that he has a giant arm. He's also obsessed with this anime girl. And his testosterone levels are so high right now that he's like seeing her in reality. And that is quite the concept. And it is entertaining. I started off with this chapter not really being too thrilled about what was about to happen, but then I was like, okay, this is just ridiculous and fun and exactly what I expect from this series. But now there's that sinking feeling in the back of my head that this isn't latching on to people and it's gonna flop. And that's probably gonna keep persisting through the coming chapters, and that sucks. I hate when this happens. But I will continue to enjoy this as long as it stays good. This chapter wasn't incredible by any stretch of the imagination, but I did have fun with it, especially for something like this, because all it's trying to do is be fun. So as long as it keeps succeeding at that, what can you complain about? We'll see how this battle goes. It's Taiki. Well, no, the opponent's name is Taiki. Thinking of Blue Box. Tyra just turned the tables, so it's looking like his favor now. So we'll see how this whole thing shakes up. I'm curious and I'm enjoying it. I assume it'll probably wrap up in the next chapter. None of the matches so far have lasted more than like 2 or 3 chapters, so this will probably be it, and then we'll move on to something hopefully better. And this isn't bad either, but this is definitely the weakest ping-pong match so far.
Bruh.
Ekiden Bros Chapter 9, The New Age. Now this is the TOC placement I expected. Last week I was a little concerned because it was kind of in the middle, but now it's like 3rd to last. So okay, there you go. That's correct. That's where it should be. This series is not going to last. It is just so weird with its pacing, and it feels like it has no point, no story to tell. It's just going through the motions of a sports series, and that's not what you want to be doing. It's another Akane-banashi chapter. Don't like this series. I think it's boring, kind of a mess, and I don't like the art either. That's pretty much all I got. not a good one. Outer of the Flame, chapter 16, Kutin. Oh wow, I don't know. I don't know. You see it. So yeah, this series is weird. It's definitely ending soon, but it doesn't always feel like it. And this is one of those ones where it like both feels like it and also doesn't. I feel like it's just getting like a pity extra couple chapters. We're about to read Nice Prison, which is definitely a series that's going to be ending soon too. Probably even next week. I think we're in an axe wave. We're getting new series in. We probably got 3 lined up. This is going to be a series. But Odor of the Flame is going to be the series that ends last, I think. So it's... But it still could line up with chapter 19 if they were smart about it. I don't know. Can anybody envision this ending in 3 more chapters? Yeah. Yeah, actually. It could happen. Weird pacing, though. I don't know. Like, this just does not read like a chapter of a series that's about to end. But it also, in some ways, does. Because there's definitely a clear effort to, like, speed things up. Like, we're going in directions that we definitely would not have gone had this series been a success. But it's still taking its time saying it. It's going to end in the coming months, though. Coming weeks, even. There's no doubt about that. It just may not always feel like it.
Brother, this guy stinks!
Nice Prison, chapter 18. Not Ultra or Ultimate. Okay, this series is 100% ending next chapter. I can feel it. I'm locking in my prediction. It's happening. We're gonna be free. It's gonna be the same thing as Kill Blue. Like, it's not gonna be an announcement that it's ending. It's gonna end next chapter, and that'll be it. Guarantee it. Watch out for leaks earlier in the week, next week. I guarantee there's gonna be a post saying that Nice Prison has ended at chapter, what is it, 19. Absolutely. There's no doubt. It is next on the chopping block. Guaranteed, and it feels like a perfect layup. Like, this is an action climax, and now we'll have a falling action next week and just wrap up. And I can't wait. I'm so ready to be free of this series forever. It's just, you know what? I should shut up, because next week it's over, so I'll get to talk about the whole thing. And won't that be lovely? The only regret is there's no 4-Koma Theater this time, and this is probably our last chance. So this series will end with 2 4-Koma Theater segments. Both gut busters. Make sure you read them. Funniest comedy you'll ever see. Alright, that's going to do it for Weekly Shonen Jump 2025, issue number 40. This was it was a week. You know, this is it's another kind of middling week. Nothing too crazy in it, to be honest. Just kind of a week of Jump. I liked a lot of the stuff in here. It was all decent, good, nothing super offensively bad. Just kind of your run-of-the-mill average Jump week. So nothing to complain about, but nothing really to say either. Looking forward to next week with that new series coming up. Issue number 41. We'll have what's it called? Let me get the name. It's called Mojuro. Cool. I'm very excited. I think that'll be a fun time. It's a limited series, so it won't stick around with us for too long, but I'm excited to see what those two can cook up. Now, this week though, chapter of the week, very clear winner to me. It's Akane-banashi Chapter 172, A Fool for Bakugo. Awesome, awesome chapter. Loved it. Loved getting this insight into Karashi. Loved seeing his performance wrap up. And of course, that amazing double-page spread that Akane-banashi always delivers on. Peak, these are my favorite kind of Akane-banashi chapters. Love them to death. Brought it all home. Erased my complaints from previous weeks, except that they're still valid because, I mean, this series is weird to read week to week. But just read them in a volume and you're fine. You don't have to read it week to week. Honestly, I probably wouldn't recommend reading Akane-banashi week to week. If you have the opportunity, just read the volumes as they come out. It's probably a much better experience. But when you're like me, who reads the whole magazine, what are you going to do? I can't just stop. yeah, this was a fantastic, incredible chapter. Reminded me of everything I love about this series and then some. All right, I already talked about next week early by accident, so kind of nothing to talk about here at the end. But if you liked the video, be sure to like. Go ahead and check out my other reviews and my other videos, which I haven't been uploading anything other than these lately because I'm still trying to find the time to get that Jump Plus video recorded. But it may be coming sooner than you think. And it will be a big one. And after that comes out, I'm free. My shackles will be broken off and I can return to making smaller videos when I feel like it. And I'm looking forward to that. But I am also looking forward to getting this Jump Plus video out. Hopefully it doesn't disappoint. All right, but that's all I got this week. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what your chapter of the week was, what your worst chapter was. Anything you want to tell me about this week. Keep the conversation rolling. And I will see you guys in whatever you decide to watch next. Take it easy, guys.